Yeah, obviously got off to the great start in that first quarter. Probably just set the tone for the entire game, and we wanted a quick start. Knew that if we could prevent them from scoring, they couldn't pressure us as much as they wanted to. Obviously, you don't ever set out to hold them to not a point in a quarter, but certainly wanted to kind of punch first, so to speak, and see if we could get some offensive flow. Which I didn't love our offensive flow early, but we did enough and got paint touches. Didn't have to settle for too many threes, I didn't think, tonight. And then really just settled in from that point. We knew they would come out in the second half with probably one more little run at us if they could. And then we kind of squashed that one, and then we just kind of coasted, I guess, from there. But they're a better team than what they played tonight. We had seen them on film, and they're much better than that. So probably just a frustrating night for them. But hopefully we had something to do with that as well. And proud of our kids. And after the long road trip, I thought we responded really well back here at home, and you need to keep protecting your home court and then go steal those wins on the road if you can to do something special. Yeah, solid Big 12 win, so we'll keep on trucking.
Well, questions. Mark, first scoreless quarter in 50 years of the team. Why? I mean,
That's what I heard. I don't know, because they missed some shots and we played pretty hard and turned them over a little bit. And we rebounded the ball fairly well tonight. That was one of the first times I thought, here lately that we've done a pretty good job on the board. So when they got the one shot, I thought we limited them to the one and out, is what we call it, one and done. So we wanted them to be one and done. And so really I thought that was it. And then if they're missing shots, we can get out in transition, and I thought we were pretty good out in the open floor.
Why was rebounding better tonight?
I don't know. Maybe just better positioning a little bit. Maybe the ball bounced a little our way. I don't know if it was anything specific. They maybe took some quick shots, which limited their, the amount of bodies in there to rebound. Houston's a really good offensive rebounding team, not quite as good on the defensive end as they are on the offensive end, so that probably allowed it a little bit too.
When Layla Blair got into foul trouble right away, how did that impact the game?
Yeah, probably quite a bit. I mean, she's, the go-to scorer for them, and she's a super, super talented offensive player and had our full attention. And, doesn't take a lot. You look at a box score, and she's the first name on the list and averaging 15 or 16 a game. So, we put some attention on her for sure. Wanted to go at her a little bit too on the offensive end just to see if we could, even if we didn't get her in foul trouble, maybe we tire her out. If they wanted to press, make her have to defend a little bit. But she's a really, really good player. I think I even called her in recruiting back in the day when I was at SFA and watched her play, and I've coached against her twice, so this was the third time. So, I was pretty familiar with her game and how talented she could be. I mean, she just had, 30 or 33, I think, the night before. So, yeah, she had our attention.
When speaking of Blair, you said the other day it's hard to speed her up. What can you say about your team's effort in speeding her up? What did they do, schematically that really got that done and held her to just 3 points?
Yeah, I don't know that we really did anything different than what we normally do or have done. I mean, this game plan was somewhat similar to some of the other games that we've played this year. I won't go into too much more detail than that because we may need it again. But it was, just put attention to her, know where she is all the time, make sure your hands are high on every closeout to take away some of her vision. But they just didn't find an offensive rhythm, and then she got in the foul trouble, and I'm sure she just couldn't find a flow. But I thought our kids did a pretty good job of putting that attention on her, where I think she had one really good look for sure that she missed. But, outside of that, I thought she was probably, starting to hunt some shots. But that's what you have to do when you're down, too.
You guys turned the ball over 21 times tonight, which I'm sure is kind of frustrating. But on the bright side, only 11 points were they able to get off those turnovers. Is there something that you do as a team when you do turn the ball over to avoid, them scoring off of that, or is that just kind of what they did?
That was terrible. That's way too many turnovers. We threw it out of bounds is what we did, so we at least got to set our defense. So that's the difference, right? So live ball turnovers, which are steals, or chunking it out of bounds, and there is a big difference. So for us, we want the steal. I want the live ball turnover, right? That leads to usually numbers going the other direction. If you chunk it out of bounds, okay, well, you chunk it out of bounds, we at least get to set our defense and play 5-on-5. But I had an old coach that I used to work for, actually. He was from Bridgeport, West Virginia, the first guy I ever worked for. And he'd take the ball in practice when you're throwing it all over the place and hit some marketing sign or something. At least give them some free advertising, give them some marketing, and we can set our defense. And so I learned that a long time as a young coach, that's a way better turnover than a live ball turnover.
When speaking on those turnovers, I know a couple of them I saw that maybe frustrated you a little bit? It seemed like kind of the tight window passes, trying to get Donnell or I believe Tabby a look. How do you kind of, when you're talking to JJ and Jordan, whoever made that pass, obviously they're trying to get those players in the score column, but how do you kind of talk to them and say, maybe don't force the issue, we don't really.
Yeah, well, I think some of those came late when the score, it was out of hand. So now you're trying to do things that you wouldn't do in a closer game. Like in a close game, there was some of those we wouldn't even have tried to make those passes. Donnell was the only kid that hadn't scored, so I was really trying to get her a touch or a basket, which we didn't need to force it in there as quickly as we did, and we still needed to connect on those. But I can think of probably 6 or 7 of those turnovers in the second half that we were just probably forcing the issue. I think we had 8 at half, right, if I'm not mistaken, and that's a manageable number. If we had ended with 14 or 15, we would probably feel okay. But, yeah, 21, that's way too many. I don't care what the score is. Yeah, that's not good enough.
Mark, you played well down at UCF, but does a game like this really kind of flush those 2 losses out of mind?
Yes. I mean, yeah, you keep playing games, so those are distant memories. The Iowa State one's going to, it'll sting a little bit just when you blow a 19-point lead in the third quarter on the road against a quality team in a tough place to play. But, I mean, you can't dwell on it. We don't sit around and talk about it. I don't think about it until you ask me a question like that. Now you're making me relive it again. But other than that, no. It's in the distant now until we play them again next Saturday, and then we'll have to relive it going into that week. But other than that, no. It helps. In a game like this, helps. But you get a night to enjoy it. And I told them if you lose, they all count the same. If you win by 1 or 2 or 3 or 40, they all count the same. So it's a win in the W column, and you put your attention to Cincinnati and this is our first time to play somebody twice, so this will be new for us.
After the Cincinnati game, you're going to have a week off. How important is that going to be for your team here as you've gotten 6 games into Big 12 play?
Yeah, I mean, when you get that bye week, you've got to make sure you use it the right way and get some rest, but not lose your rhythm at the same time. And so I probably had a few years where I didn't probably like when the bye came and we didn't need it, and there's other years where it comes at the exact right time. For us, it's probably coming at a pretty good time for us. So we need to get back on the road, beat Cincinnati if we can and play well, and then, rest up a little bit, but make sure, Iowa State, got us. So we got a week to prepare, but some of the preparation will be take care of your body and don't even come and go home and rest and recover and, maybe spend 2 days doing that, and then we'll get back at it.
Is there any extra emphasis when you're dealing with 2 teams that thrive on pressure and turnovers to getting off to that strong start? You mentioned it was kind of a focal point, but just kind of curious when you're dealing with 2 teams that really like to impose their will on one another.
Yeah, and we spent quite a bit of time, trying to come up with different creative ways to initiate offense. Do we set it with a ball screen? Do we get some false action or some move, just some ghost movement just to create, a little bit more space? Because if you don't, they'll just keep denying you well outside the 3-point line, and that's when it gets pretty disruptive. So we got to keep working on that. Cincinnati does a good job, similar to UCF, similar to Houston, of doing that. We've gotten a little more comfortable playing against it, but still we can get a little bit better and take some steps. So we'll focus on that probably the next couple days.
Coach, what can you say about Lauren getting that double-double, getting, I believe, 5 of those rebounds in the first quarter? What can you say about her and being just kind of that spark plug, doing kind of the dirty work to kind of set the tone?
Yeah, no, she was really, really good, and we've challenged her all year to rebound a little bit more for us, and she's capable, and I mean, she looked good up there getting a couple of those rebounds. I mean, she went to go get them, and we need her to do that. We had challenged her, I don't remember, it was a couple games ago, to get some rebounds. I don't think she got any that game and was a little disappointed in herself, and, she's kind of offensively turned into a shooter, but there's more to her game, than that. And the kids played a lot about college basketball. So we just need her to be versatile for us. And, to get the double-double, I think that was her career high, if I'm not mistaken, in rebounds. So, really good for her. Jayla, I thought Hemingway got going a little bit too. And that was her 100th career game here, so that was pretty cool for her. But then Kylie's going now a little bit, and Kaya and, JJ and Jordan have been pretty good all year. But, just to keep getting these extra scores will just help in the long run.
Hey, Coach, I don't want to make it seem like I'm harping on JJ here, but I think she had a third of your turnovers tonight. You mentioned fouling as an emphasis in her game. Is decision-making something that is maybe like that threshold for her to take her game from all Big 12 caliber to all-American caliber?
I think there's some of that for sure. Again, she's this unassuming superstar, and I think with that, you see that from time to time, and you see maybe the indecision in some of those plays. When she makes her mind up, that's when you see the All-American type player. When she's a little indecisive, that probably holds her back just a little bit. I mean, that was, I don't know if she's had 8 turnovers much, but yeah, there's times she turns it over a little bit. There are, again, are good turnovers when she's trying to make a play, and then there's some really bad ones mixed in there too. And if we could eliminate the really bad ones, then yeah, that's going to come down to 2 or 3 a night, and she'll have 4 or 5 assists and 4 or 5 steals, and then get her 18 points, and you're gonna look at it and be like, yeah, kid was pretty good tonight. So she's got to work on it though. Yeah, we were a little upset with her a couple times with some of those decisions. Yeah, so she's got to get better at it.
Got 2 for it. Who was the guy from Bridgeport you learned under?
Rick Cooper. Yep. So, West Texas A&M. Yeah, Rick was there for a long, long time. Really, really good Division II head basketball coach, and then he actually was at Texas Tech the last couple years as like chief of staff. But yeah, I think at least his mom I know, but maybe both parents still live in Bridgeport. He was just up here a couple weeks ago.
And then you mentioned Jayla playing her 100th game. I know you haven't been with her too long, but can you, I guess, kind of speak to what she means in this program?
Yeah, no, she means a ton, and we've told her that. And, we've talked a little bit about her role changing this year with coming off the bench, but she's still going to play starter minutes, and we need her to have a big impact. And, she's struggled here a little bit lately, and so it was good to kind of just see her get back to it and, get to the free throw line, get to the rim. That's still where she's at her best. Be a leader, be tough. A lot of our toughness is wrapped up into Jayla, and I've told her that, and we wanted that, and we wanted that part of our identity to be her. And so just getting her to relax. I just think she probably got a little uptight and was struggling and fighting some stuff. But yeah, maybe she can get back to smiling and having fun and doing the things that she's capable of, because she's going to be a big piece of this, as we finish.
Thanks, everyone.